Continuously, we can notice how there are people around us who seem to easily obtain anything they desire, while others often tend to overwhelm themselves trying to reach goals that seem impossible to them. The dream job, the holiday we need, the ideal partner, etc. The truth is, there is indeed a significant difference between people who live their lives with fulfillment and those who suffer and become bitter continuously. The secret lies in how we develop our belief system. But what are beliefs really? Generally, we understand beliefs from logical, philosophical, and spiritual perspectives, but in reality, a belief is nothing more than a thought we repeat so many times in our mind that we transform it into an absolute truth for ourselves. It's as if we create a program in our subconscious that determines how we interpret the world, how we feel, and the actions we take in different situations. The beliefs we have about ourselves, about our lives, and about our possibilities for success or failure largely determine the reality we experience. All of this begins to develop from the earliest childhood. In fact, the limiting beliefs of younger children experience the world in a completely different way than adults do. Philosophers and other great scholars of the caliber of Aristotle were aware that children, especially between 0 and 7 years old, are like sponges that absorb everything around them. A great sage like Saint Ignatius of Loyola once said, "Give me a child until he is 7 years old, and I will show you the man he will become." The ideas and beliefs that children hear from their parents, teachers, friends, and society in general completely shape their worldview. The brains of young children are in a state similar to a hypnotic state, where there are no filters when receiving information. They will take as fact and turn into absolute truth everything that is repeated constantly around them. For example, this means that if the father of a child under 7 years old has had negative experiences with money and finances and constantly states, in the family environment, that money and economic stability are excessively difficult to achieve in life, it is very likely that his child will develop this idea very early on and grow up to become an adult incapable of approaching money or achieving financial stability, because he holds the firm belief imposed by the constant repetition of his father's thought that money is too difficult to obtain. All these thoughts, as well as the words we say every day, generate strong emotions that help program our beliefs and make them a reality. If we constantly think about negative things, such as the fear of failure or the lack of self-confidence, we will inevitably develop a multitude of limiting beliefs that will prevent us from reaching our full potential. Therefore, if our desire is to achieve a fulfilling life, where we can have more confidence in ourselves and where our goals can be fulfilled without succumbing to suffering, the main goal must be to transform everything we say and think into something positive. Fortunately, it is not only in childhood that people have the possibility to transport themselves into that hypnotic state where our brain absorbs information unconsciously. This is also achieved through techniques widely used today, such as suggestion. Now carefully analyze the following quote: "We are governed, our minds molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested largely by men we have never heard of." This sententious phrase, quite aligned with the way society develops today, was said by one of the most influential figures of the 20th century, Edward Bernays, considered by many as the father of public relations. Edward Bernays perfectly understood the power that words have to influence people's beliefs. He used propaganda, combining words and images, to change the public's perception on various subjects, from tobacco consumption to participation in war. One of Bernays' most famous examples of manipulation was the campaign he carried out for the tobacco industry at a time when smoking was seen as an exclusively male habit. Bernays persuaded a group of young, high society women to light cigarettes during a public event as a protest in favor of women's liberation and suffragism. His strategy caused tobacco sales to skyrocket, and women began to smoke en masse as a symbol of female independence and modernity. The influence that advertising has on our minds and on our worldview is an indisputable point. The power of words and suggestive images unconsciously controls our entire belief system. But this is where we must stop and reflect. Will we be able to take advantage of techniques similar to those of advertising to shape our reality according to our desire? The truth is that human beings have much greater potential than we usually imagine. Although techniques such as advertising or the unconscious absorption of thoughts, which we received in childhood, may have turned us into people who feel empty or incomplete, it is possible to find a starting point entirely within our reach. For this, we must delve deeper into the importance of the reticular activating system and how we can train it to fully function in our favor. The reticular activating system, also known as the RS, is a small part of our brain to which all our senses, except for smell, are connected, and it acts as a filter that decides which sensory information is relevant to us and which is not. In this way, it helps us focus on what interests us and ignore everything that distracts us. An example of how the reticular activating system works would be as follows. Imagine you are at a concert of your favorite singer. The venue is packed with people. There are music and lights everywhere. Your brain is receiving a lot of information at the same time and is unable to process it all. So the reticular activating system filters all this information and only lets through to your brain what it considers most essential. For instance, if you are looking for a friend among all the people at the concert, the reticular activating system will help you recognize their voice or face in the crowd. The same happens when you are dancing. The reticular activating system will make you pay more attention to the rhythm of the music playing and the movements of your body, disregarding everything that doesn't interest you, such as the noise of people talking or the faces of strangers. You can think of the reticular activating system as a nightclub doorman who only lets in the information that our unconscious mind associates as relevant, but blocks what we assume is not of interest to us. It's similar to what was explained earlier with advertising campaigns. These are effective because our reticular activating system captures the influence generated by advertising through constant repetition of the same. It's like when we see an advertisement repeatedly. At first, our RAS may blatantly ignore it, but the more we are exposed to that ad, the more we get used to its influence, and in our brain, the idea is formed that what the ad promotes is good and necessary for us. The doorman, our reticular activating system, gets tired of rejecting the information received through the ad and lets it into the club. Therefore, our belief system is affected by this new information received. The key to transforming our belief system and, consequently, our life lies in using the same principles that advertising uses to gradually infiltrate our brain, transforming our belief system. Here, we should revisit the idea that the thoughts and the emotions they generate end up giving a concrete shape to our entire belief system. The thoughts and the words we use to express them, inside and outside our minds, are the first tool we will use to train our reticular activating system and, consequently, to transform our beliefs into something positive. Let's illustrate this with a simple example. Imagine you are someone who is starting a new and excellent job with a good salary and a wonderful schedule. However, you receive the news that before being hired permanently, you must go through a probationary period. Naturally, during this probationary period, you will feel a strange mixture of excitement and anxiety, and all sorts of thoughts will come to your mind, wondering if you are doing everything right and if you will manage to pass the probationary period and be hired. On the other hand, you will have cheerful thoughts, where you visualize yourself occupying the position permanently and earning a lot of money. If you are someone who usually lets yourself be carried away by negative thoughts, it is highly likely that you will suffer intensely throughout the probationary period. Your reticular activating system will send these thoughts, transformed into strong emotions, to your brain, and your belief system will present a reality where it is much easier to fail than to pass and emerge victorious. Conversely, if you make an effort and effectively train your reticular activating system by focusing only on positive thoughts, the RAS will eventually allow this new information into your brain, and you will come to see that going through a probationary period actually brings excellent advantages that you can leverage, such as learning the company's dynamics, getting to know your colleagues, and gaining experience. In short, you will begin to feel that everything you need to finally secure the job you want is within your reach. Thinking positively will make your RAS pay attention to all the positive aspects that surround you each day. Because, although you may not realize it at this moment, The world and life in general are full of various options and opportunities for growth that often become invisible to us because the information that constitutes them never reaches our brain. So to align our belief system with the positive aspects around us, we can use different techniques that will help us achieve this. Interrupting negative patterns. The first technique is to pay attention to your negative thoughts and emotions. You must be aware of the moments when you find yourself thinking something negative. Aim to interrupt this pattern and replace it with a more positive and empowering thought. You can start each morning by dedicating 5 minutes to writing in a journal your thoughts on a specific topic, such as your relationships, career, or health. At the end of the week, review your notes and analyze if there are any negative or limiting thought patterns you need to change. The power of words. Keep in mind the tremendous power of the words you use. Words have an impact on your vibration and on the manifestation of your emotions on a psychological level. Choose words that reflect the reality you want to create. Affirm with conviction and emotion what you desire to be and expect to achieve. Visualization. Another important technique is to create a clear image of the life you desire. Visualize in detail how you will feel when you have achieved your goals. Feel in advance the emotion you will experience when you have fulfilled your dreams. Imagine yourself accomplishing what you set out to do. Embrace those feelings and start to fully trust that this moment belongs to you and will come to you. Consuming positive media. For this, surround yourself with relevant information, books, videos, and people that inspire and teach you tools to improve your life. Avoid media that manipulates, lies, or makes you feel bad, such as news programs. Ignoring physical circumstances. Do not let physical circumstances discourage you. Focus on your vision. Trust that the universe will guide you to it. Many times, what is happening around us doesn't seem to align with the vision we expect for ourselves. When this happens, it's best to focus on the positive aspects and close the door to the negative ones. Gathering evidence. Lastly, you can gather evidence that you are on the right path to transforming your life. Pay attention to small signs, indicating that your new belief system is manifesting in reality. Remember, the key to transforming your mind is to be patient and consistent. Don't get discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Try different approaches and find what works best for you. The most important thing is to be willing to challenge your beliefs and open yourself to new possibilities. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and a comment to help the channel, and see you in the next video.